G'day, Coach Ray here. I'm a triathlon and cycling coach who specialises in coaching beginner and recreational athletes to achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. In today's short video, I'm going to take you through Matthew Hayman's power profile for the fourth stage of the 2018 Tour de France. Now, stage 4 was 195 kilometres to Sarzeau, and there was an intermediary sprint at the 98 kilometre mark with a bonus sprint at the 157 kilometre mark. Between the two sprints at the 136 kilometre mark, there was a category 4 climb that's 800 metres long at 7.8% gradient. The day was a relatively mundane stage where a breakaway of 4 riders were allowed to get out to 8 minutes at one point. BMC sort of controlled the pace in the peloton, and towards the end of the stage the sprinting team stepped up to assist close the gap. The catch occurred in the last 10 kilometres, but there was also a crash with a bit over 5 kilometres to go in the stage. Some riders managed to get stuck behind it, and the stage winner ended up being the Colombian Fernando Gaviria of Quick Step Floors, who won stage 1 as well. Now, Matthew Hayman rides for Michelin Scott, and he's a 40-year-old Australian cyclist who's been a pro since 2000. He's ridden the Tour de France 3 times previously and done 11 Grand Tours in total. He's currently ranked 958th in the UCI rankings, and his biggest race result was winning Paris-Roubaix in 2016. His role within the team is primarily as a domestique. Now let's have a look at some of the data we've got here in front of us. Let's just get rid of some of the data that sort of clogs up this graph. And have a look at things. And we'll just change that over to distance. So 133 kilometre mark. So depending on exactly where he started, you can see we've got a bit of power missing there. So he's really starting 10 kilometres in. So 143, 144 kilometres. So it's going to be this section here. This is going to be the climb, and if we just highlight that, we can actually zoom in here. And they had quite a sharp hairpin round. Well, hairpin's probably an exaggeration. Around a roundabout before going up the climb, and there it is, right there. So you can see there's the roundabout before they went up there. The GPS doesn't quite line up with the mapping, but that's pretty much it. So you can see that's where the big effort went. Just sort of eyeballing over this from that point onwards, and that's what we saw when we looked at Taylor Phinney's profile as well. That's where the heat really stepped up. And if you look, he averaged 345 watts for that last sort of hour 15 or the last 60 Ks, which is getting right up there, considering his functional threshold power is about 382 watts by my calculations. If we look at what he did up until that point, so he's 345 originally, 254. So he's effectively added another sort of 90 to 100 watts to his effort from the first 3 hours for the last hour and a bit. If we just have a quick look at that, the variability index is 1.28, which is pretty normal for a road stage race. An intensity factor of 0.67, which is relatively low, showing how slow, and slow is probably the wrong word, how cruisy they took the first part of the stage. Now, he's increased his effort, variability index of 1.2. Not quite time trial level, but he's obviously at the front or near the front doing a reasonable amount of work, and the intensity factor is up at 0.91, so it really shows how hard he is working. If we look at how long he sustained for his powers, now like I said, my calculations, he's got a FTP of around 382, and he spent the last 6 minutes pretty much riding at that. And up until that point, he was conserving his energy, even though he was working reasonably hard. So the 10 minutes, the average not average, but rode at 364. Yeah, he did average, sorry. Rode at 364 watts. Admittedly, it was a normalized power of 395, so that is a bit above his FTP still, and 378. So 12 minutes, pretty much right on his FTP. So there's a little bit of an insight into Matthew Hayman's ride today in stage 4. If you enjoyed this video, click up in the top left corner and subscribe. Down the bottom right corner, you can get more videos of power analysis from professionals. And in the other two corners, YouTube's going to give some recommendations based on what you've watched previously.